Ever pinch pennies all year for that one family vacation only to feel the budget blues afterwards? If so, I was just like you. After 3 vacationless years, I stumbled on credit card rewards travel and cracked the code to amazing vacations that I could actually afford.
Welcome to Wonderland on Points. In this podcast, you will discover how opening credit cards strategically can save you thousands on travel. We're not just dreamers anymore. We're 2 adventurous moms turning dreams into reality. Join us as we spill all the points and miles secrets.
And contrary to popular belief, you don't have to spend $1 million to earn 1,000,000 points. Traveling on credit card points isn't reserved for those with overflowing bank accounts. It's for everyday people like you and me, learning to turn routine expenses into free travel.
Consider us your points travel guides. This is Wonderland on Points. Let the adventure begin.
Welcome back to Wonderland on Points. Today is a really exciting episode because we are in the same place. Joanna is here with me and we're actually recording together on video, which is insane.
I know. We have a whole video right here. We are sitting next to each other. We have vibrant colors. We have good lighting. We have good sound. I don't even know what's happening right now, but you guys should go check it out probably on our YouTube channel.
Absolutely. So find Wonderland on Points on YouTube. We have all of our audio podcasts there. We don't normally release full episodes on video, but check it out.
It's a special day. It's a special day.
It's so good to have you.
I know.
Here.
I feel like I should look at you.
I know.
Are we supposed to look at our people? Or are we supposed to look at each other?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay. We're going to just go back and forth. This is how we birthed this podcast anyways, was to be this kind of chill, like we're just having a chat vibe. And now we've brought it to life in person.
We sure did. And yesterday was really exciting because you flew first class for the first time, which was awesome.
I had to get up at 2:45 in the morning, leave my house at like 3:20 a.m. to get to the airport for that flight. But it was worth it because, first of all, it was 9,000 points transferred from my American Express to Hawaiian to Alaska. By the way, the end date for that loophole is June 30th. It has just been announced. I saw it this morning. June 30th, you will no longer be able to use that loophole. So if you're going to speculatively transfer points, now is the time. You might want to look into opening Hawaiian cards because I heard that the next step is for that transfer to go away. It's like Hawaiian to Alaska. Currently, that will still be available. It's just the Amex and Hawaiian loophole that's not going to be available. But just start thinking because these points have just become very valuable for me all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can get to you for 9,000 points in first class or 4.5 thousand points in economy, which is crazy. That's so cheap. So, very good experience in the first row of the plane with the sweetest flight attendant in the entire world. Her name is Angela. She knows about the podcast now. So if you're listening, Angela, I loved you. You were doing a great job in training. I know it's tough to change careers late in life, and I'm proud of you.
She's an inspiration.
She is an inspiration, and she made my flight so enjoyable. I mean, I had, first of all, coffee in a mug, like a ceramic mug with real cream. She just kept filling it. It was delightful. She brought a snack basket, and I was like, I don't know what to choose. And she said, have multiple. And I said, oh, you can do that? Because it's first class.
You have all the snacks you want, girl.
It was incredible. The recline, there was nobody behind me. So for people who think you shouldn't recline your seats if there's someone behind you, which I don't subscribe to, okay, come for me. The recline was definitely more than a traditional seat. It was cozy. I was comfortable. It was fun being the first one on and the first one off.
Yes. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it safely. And then after you arrived for your first class experience, we went into DC. It was romped around.
It was like polar opposites. It was like this relaxing, chill, sitting, getting pampered to like go, go, go. We're going to walk 1,000 gazillion million steps and multiple miles in the hot, hot sun. Like it was, but it was great. It was worth it.
Definitely hotter and sunnier than expected, for sure. But we did a really cool experiment because we knew that we were going to be walking a ton in DC. And so There is a device called Firefly, which was on Shark Tank. You may have seen it on Shark Tank. So cool. So the nurse in me loves this kind of thing. I love when good circulation is promoted. And so I have often wore at work when I'm walking all day compression socks. And they are great, but man, do they get hot sometimes. So hot.
So hot. Dane had to wear compression socks for years because he had vein issues, circulation issues that he actually had to have surgery on. And this man was at the beach in the middle of the summer with compression socks on and tennis shoes on. And I wish he had had access to these devices back then, because they would have been such a game changer for him. Yeah. I have videos of that. I wonder if he'll let me put them on the internet.
Well, I use this new thing called Firefly. Firefly Recovery is the company, and it's these little straps that you put on your leg right underneath your knee, kind of at the top of your calf. What it does is it activates the perineal nerve, stimulates it, and it actually promotes better circulation than compression socks. So it's less hot and promotes better circulation. And so what we did is I was like, okay, I'm going to wear these all day while we're walking around DC and see if I am achy afterwards, if my knees hurt, if my feet swell, I'm going to just see what I feel like and then compare it to what you feel like doing the same amount of activity. Now, we are different people, but it was just really cool to see okay, is this thing going to make a difference when I travel?
Yeah, I mean, both of us are roughly the same age. Neither of us are athletes or anything like that. So I feel like we're pretty evenly matched in terms of how much activity we do. And we both have jobs where we're walking and moving around a lot. So I thought it was a great experiment, but I was a little jealous at the end of the day when my legs were so fatigued, and you seem fine. You seem totally fine.
It's so true. I felt bad. I was the one who got the better end of this deal because I actually used the Firefly straps. So yes, I was not fatigued. My feet were not swollen. I was very impressed. I was very happy with it. I will say they come with straps you put on your legs. They have a little device that can secure the straps, and I think that would be a good idea. I didn't use those this time, but I think I will next time because I was a little hot, a little sweaty, and these straps can be used more than once. They have 30 hours of usage. So you can use them one day while you walk around for 5-6 hours, then use them the next day. You could use them, every day of a trip that you're adventuring around this summer. But the adhesive would probably lose a little bit of its sticky from time to time. So I think that's where the strap comes into play. So I'll try the strap next time. If you guys want to try it, we have a code for you because we really like this company. They are sponsoring this episode. They said that we can use the code Wonderland and you guys can get 15% off. So if you want to try Firefly Recovery, go to their website, type in the code Wonderland. Give it a try because we're going to try it in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, we really are. It's such a great option for travelers because when you're sitting on a long haul flight, I mean, that can be extremely uncomfortable, extremely taxing. My ankles swell an inordinate amount. In fact, my friend who just went to Greece, I was telling her about this and she's like, wish I had known about that before I went. She's like, I didn't even know my ankles could get this big.
No.
Yeah. And this is another mid-30s person. So I was like,
the age
I know. I was like, you're gonna have to get some. So I'm about to try them in a few weeks. They're coming up on a long haul flight. I'm gonna have my mom try them. Aging people for sure. I think should definitely consider how their blood is flowing when they're on long car rides, long airplane rides. So pretty excited to get to put them to the test and see how I'm feeling after a long haul flight. And then you're going to put them to the test a little bit later on this summer.
We will report back, guys. We're going to use them in all these different ways and we will report back. And I think they would be great to wear in New York City, which is the topic of today's episode.
Yes, it is. What a beautiful segue because when I went to New York last time, I probably did 30,000 steps a day.
Yes, you do. Everyone does.
Yeah, you walk everywhere because it's such a walkable city and there's so many fun things to see. So don't forget to use our code Wonderland for 15% off at Firefly Recovery. And now let's talk New York.
Yes, let's get into New York. Now we're going to put a disclaimer right at the top of the episode because New York City obviously is massive. There's so much to do. This could be an entire podcast. I'm sure there are entire podcasts devoted to where to stay, what to do in New York City. So we're not going to be able to give you everything in one episode, but we are going to give you as many tips and personal experiences as we can from our own trips to New York City so you can be prepared, plan the best trip possible.
Yes. And full disclosure, I went many years ago, pre-Points and Miles, as a nanny. So it was a very different perspective that I was getting. You know, it was not a budget trip. So I'm going to interject a little bit. Mostly I'm going to be talking to you, my resident New York expert, about your experiences since starting Points and Miles, because you have some tips. And I think we should talk about potentially where you stay first. Do you want to talk about that or flights first?
Yeah. I don't even think we're going to get into flights. No, because every major airline flies there. Yeah. There's multiple airports. So you can find your flights on Points. That should not be a problem. There should be ample ways from all different card currencies to transfer and get flights. So getting there is 100% possible. There's probably no easier place in the world to get to on Points and Miles than New York City. So we will dive in more so for where to stay.
Yeah, 100%. And you have like the hack of all hacks for the main place that you recommend people stay. I feel like it's really exciting.
I have preferences on this because everyone thinks, let's go to New York City, let's stay in Times Square, let's stay in Midtown, right in the center of the action, which is fun. I have done that. And maybe if it's just you and a partner, you want to do that. But let me tell you that those hotel rooms are tiny. They are tiny. So when you're trying to fit a whole family in a hotel room and for multiple days, they're just so small that I don't love that. It's not my first choice. I prefer to kind of get out of the action in the evening and enjoy life right outside the city. Just barely. Still so accessible to the city, but you get so much more bang for your buck if you just go right outside the city.
Yeah. So tell everybody where you're going.
Okay. So you have two options. So I have done it both ways. I had a friend who lived in New York City for a long time. She stayed just over the Queensboro Bridge, and she was like, this is actually a really great area. People don't think about staying here, but it is so easy to hop on the train. Couple stops, hardly any stops. You're at Central Park. You're right in the mix of things. So that's staying in Long Island City. And there are pretty much every major hotel chain you can stay in Long Island City. Okay. This is not my favorite. I'm just telling you, I have stayed there and I have liked it. It is an option. So you should look in Long Island City. Don't discount it just because it's not right on Manhattan. There is a Hilton Place, Long Island City. There's a Hilton Garden. I'm sorry. There's a Hyatt Place. Excuse me. How dare I mix up Hilton and Hyatt?
I mean, they're going to cancel our podcast, first of all. And second of all, my heart is broken.
So there's a Hyatt Place, Long Island City. There's a Hilton Garden Inn, a Home 2 Suites, which is a great option for families. Courtyard, Long Island City. All of those are really good options. And it does not take you long to get right to Fifth Avenue, right to Central Park, right where you want to be. So check out Long Island City. The other place you're going to want to check out for another affordable option is Jersey City. This is the one I always talk about.
This is the one you always talk about.
There's two options with Hyatt. There's the Hyatt House, Jersey City, and then there is a Hyatt Regency. I always stay at the Hyatt House because I don't have globalist status, so I don't have free breakfast, but the Hyatt House, Jersey City is still, as of the time of this recording, offering free breakfast. We know that that's kind of going away at a lot of Hyatt places and whatnot. So for now, it has free breakfast, and it doesn't just have a normal free breakfast. It has a free breakfast with a view. You can see the entire skyline of Lower Manhattan. It is gorgeous. And so you come, it's just one stop over on what they call the PATH train. It's a little bit different than the regular subway system. It's the PATH train that goes over to New Jersey, and it's pretty easy to do. The hotel is right outside the train stop. One stop gets you over to the Oculus, which is right at the 9/11 Memorial. It's right at the One World Observatory. So much to do in Lower Manhattan. And that hotel is right there. And it's right on a riverfront park.
Yeah, your footage of it was really, really lovely. And someone else posted in our Facebook group recently, which come join us in our Facebook group. If you're not there, you can find a link in the show notes. They stayed there and on your recommendation, and they had this cute picture of their kids looking out the window over the river. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. What a view.
Yeah. It makes for perfect photo ops.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Which in New York City, especially if you're visiting, you don't visit there often, you want a picture with the skyline.
You sure do. It's the perfect place to get it. And I feel like I remember you saying that you figured out kind of a sweet spot of how to get a really nice room with a combo of points plus cash, which we never, ever suggest people do.
Yes, it's normally not a good deal, but at this hotel, it's been kind of an insider loophole tip that there was this, what can only be explained as like a mistake fare, but it's for the hotel. And it's, yes, if you book with points and cash, it was a better deal than just the points price or just the cash price on a suite. So you could have a little 2-room suite. It's still small, but it has a little kitchen area, has a pull-out sofa for kids, and then a bedroom and a bathroom. And so for my family of 5, we have been able to be in that suite. So more than once, my family of 5 has stayed at the Hyatt House, Jersey City, all in one room, even not a suite, a regular standard room with like 2 queen beds. We stay in there. Maybe it's 2 double beds. I don't know. But the 2 bedrooms, standard rooms we've stayed in as a family of 5. Yeah. So that hotel, definitely a great option.
Yeah. I think you did the suite at Christmas, right?
We did the suite at Christmas.
It was so magical.
It was magical. I also should say there's a Starbucks right outside from the hotel.
Oh, yes.
Right outside. And there's a fantastic playground. So if you have younger kids, my kids, even my oldest is 12, he still loves a great playground. So 12 and under, there's a playground right on the river with that beautiful Lower Manhattan view.
That sounds amazing to me. Honestly, that sounds like my preference of how I would like to do New York, especially if I'm coming with kids. Maybe if it's just me and my husband, something fancy in a small room in the middle of the action is fine. But we actually don't like noise when we're trying to sleep. And I don't know if you've ever slept in a hotel in Manhattan.
Oh, yes.
The traffic is its own sound machine.
Yes.
And it's not my preference.
Yeah, it's not even the regular traffic and horns, it's the sirens.
Oh my gosh, it's
all the
so
time.
Bad. It's so bad. And
that's
I imagine it's
just another reason
bad.
not to be in Midtown.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Yeah. Now, in saying that, if you do really want to be in the action, the Thompson Central Park, which is a Hyatt, is very nice. I did notice their rooms were not as small as other hotels that I've stayed in, kind of right in the action. So the Thompson is really nice. If you have a guest of honor or you're globalist, their breakfast area is really beautiful.
Yeah.
I haven't stayed there with either of those things. So again, there's a Starbucks outside of every corner, but there is a Starbucks not far away. There's a Chipotle, there's a pastry shop. So there's a lot of good options to eat outside of that hotel as well.
Yeah. And I've personally stayed at the Park Hyatt. So if you really want to spend a ton of points, you can do that. And it's incredible. And again, not super small rooms. I had just a standard room. It was very spacious. They have 10 out of 10 bathtubs.
Oh, okay? I bet. It's a Park Hyatt. It's got to be nice.
Yeah, it was so nice. The breakfast spread was amazing. Now, I didn't do this stay on points. It was a work trip, but I would go back and do that as a romantic trip and spend the points for maybe 2 nights.
Oh, for sure.
It would be worth it, for sure. And if you can get an upgrade, by you guys, you could have a guest of honor. You could also just try emailing the hotel and letting them know it's a special occasion. That does work.
Yes, it does.
Not always. We can't guarantee anything, obviously, but it is worth a shot. You should never go stay anywhere for a special occasion and not let them know, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, no. Always give it a shot.
And if you want our email template, we can send it to you. So just reach out on Facebook or email us or DM us. We will send you the template that we wrote that will tell you how to ask for an upgrade, even if you don't have any kind of status or guest of honor.
Okay, what do we do in New York City? There's so much to do.
There's so much to do. And you can go either way with like free stuff or stuff that costs a lot of money. I can start by telling you a very expensive thing that I think is pretty cool.
Is it worth it?
I personally thought it was amazing.
Okay, well then share it.
That's the Russian tea room. Have you been?
No.
There's so much history there, first of all. So if you read up on the Russian tea room and the people that have visited there, it makes you feel very fancy going in there. And I was able to take little girls there, and they just felt like they were the coolest thing in the world getting to sit in there. It's so opulently decorated, and the food is delicious. It is a very cool experience. It is expensive, but it's right across the street from the Park Hyatt. So you can literally, we could look out our windows and see
just
it.
right there.
And it's got this really cool awning, and it just really calls your name. So if you want to splurge and set up a little, fund to start coming up with things that you might want to do while you're there that cost money, you can do that. But you can also go totally free in New York. There's so many free things that you can walk around and see.
So many. I just love the energy of the city. Mm-hmm. Like my favorite thing is just being there.
Yeah.
I don't really have to be doing anything. Yeah. Just walking around in the city, popping into stores or coffee shops. Like
window shopping.
Yes, window shopping. I don't have to actually spend money. Mm-hmm. Just being there is so fun. And so that's why I know I've mentioned this before. We just love going to Central Park.
Yeah.
We'll just spend so much time in Central Park. My kids just want to run around. They want to climb on the rocks. They want to go to the playgrounds in Central Park. And you can just spend a day doing that. You don't have to go to New York City and do all the expensive touristy attractions. No. You can just pretend that you live there.
Yeah. I love the vibes of the city. Temporarily. I would not want to live there personally, but I enjoy it so much. And if you go at Christmas time specifically, it has such a festive spirit. I can give you a free suggestion of something you can do in New York, which is show your kids Balto. Have you seen Balto?
No, I don't even know what that is. Is that a movie? Does everyone else know what Balto is? Is it a kid's movie?
Yes. You've never seen Balto?
I've never even heard of Balto. I don't even know.
About the sled dog?
What? No. Is it mainstream?
I'm going to need you guys to weigh in if you know what Balto is, if you've seen Balto, or if I'm the only one that grew up watching Balto religiously. Balto is a movie based on a true story about a wolf who became a sled dog who helped get medicine across the country in a very, very bad storm when people were needing like penicillin, I think it was, for like a really bad sickness.
This is like an old school movie?
Yes. I mean, it's a cartoon.
Okay.
But it is based on an old true story. And at the beginning, it's real life. And the grandmother is telling the granddaughter the story. And it starts by filming in Central Park. And it shows you the Balto statue.
There's a statue?
There's a statue of Balto.
Okay.
Okay, so you show your kids Balto, and they get real into it. And then when you go to New York City, you find the Balto statue, and it feels really cool.
Well, what we find in Central Park is scenes from Home Alone 2. Okay.
Okay, I'm here for that too.
I took my son to New York for his birthday with all of his friends, and one of the kids was like, that's where they show the shot of them in Home Alone 2. And then another one was talking about Elf. He was like, that's where they do the snowball fight in Elf. So
you can make an entire trip of just watching a bunch of movies beforehand and then going around and finding filming locations. Yeah. I bet somebody's written up something on that already that you could just Google.
For sure. 100%. I did see a reel the other day on the internet about the guy who lives in the Sex and the City house where the show and everything, he like lives in this brownstone or townhouse that the movies in the show were filmed, and there are always people out front of his house, but it's his actual house. And he's like, please back away. I live here. This is not a movie like scene. This is my actual house.
I mean, you would think you would consider that before buying such a place to live.
I think he lived there before the show and stuff, is what I heard. That he let them rent it out to film the show. I could be wrong, but that is what, I was reading in the comments. I was in the comment section of that one.
That's where you get all the tea.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so other things to do in New York City besides Central Park and all the movies that are filmed in Central Park.
Broadway shows. That's why I go to New York.
What shows did you see?
I have seen Aladdin in New York. I have seen Anastasia.
I also saw Aladdin. I don't think I realized we both have seen Aladdin on Broadway.
Yes, I've seen Wicked in New York.
Me too. Same.
I'm trying to think what else. It's been quite a number of years. But did you know the trick about trying to get discount tickets?
What trick do you know?
Okay, so I'm trying to remember the details, but apparently day of the show, you can go to the little booth in Times Square and like at a certain time, I guess they release a certain amount of discount tickets and you can get them the day of the show, maybe, if they're there.
TKTS or something like that. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Oh, did I just date myself?
That was a thing, for sure. I've had success just going to the box office. The only problem is you can't really do this from far away. Like if you're planning your trip far in advance and you live in Texas, it doesn't really work. And if there's a certain show that you want to see and like you're not flexible at all, then you can't do this. But if you are flexible, if you're going to New York and are like, okay, we want to see a show, don't really care what show it is, or maybe I have like a top 3 shows that I want to see, you can go to the box office when you get there and ask for the next couple days. It doesn't have to be same day, but that's what I did with Aladdin. I took my kids on spring break last year and got there and was like, all right, these are the couple shows. We're going to try to see one of them. Let's just show up at the box office, see what they have. Definitely works better if you can break up into like 2 people sitting together here or there. We had 3. I needed 3 tickets and it worked out. Okay. I got them and we got really good seats. You just kind of cut out the middleman fees of buying online. So it's not a lot cheaper, but it is a little bit cheaper.
Well, and if you really want to use your points for something like this and you're flexible, like you mentioned, you can go on Capital One Experiences or you can go into the Chase portal under their like tickets and things to do. And sometimes you can find certain Broadway shows that you can pay for in points if you really want to. So if you're trying to get your budget at 0, it's an option. Obviously, it's just a set cents per point with that kind of redemption. So you have to decide if it's worth it for you. But, if you just want to see a show, might be the way to go.
There's also a lot of TV shows that have audiences and it's free to do those. You have to in advance try to get the tickets, go on the website for the various shows, but they are free tickets. And that's a really fun. I've done that multiple times in New York City and had a great time. It's just fun to see how it all works, right? How all the television and production stuff works. So that's something to look into that takes some planning, but it's free.
And at certain times of year, they have things like Christmas tree lighting. So you can always look ahead to see what's going on in the city while you're there. And a lot of those things are free as well.
Yeah, for sure. I also love, this is not free, but it is low price and it's kind of fun. Some of it's free. So I have told Joanna so many times how I love Lower Manhattan. I love going to Rockefeller Park that is kind of the opposite side of the river from the Hyatt House, Jersey City. So it's right on the other side of the river and it's a park where you see people running and jogging and, playing football, and there's a playground that is great, a really fun playground. It's also really close to this thing called Pier 25. They have mini golf at Pier 25, which is to think about playing mini golf outside in New York City on Manhattan seems kind of random and wild.
Very random.
And like it wouldn't be possible, but it is on this pier. And it was fun because you have the opposite skyline. Like we did it in the evening and there was the Jersey skyline, which was nice too. And it was very affordable. We did that on my son's recent birthday trip and we paid for all the kids to go and it wasn't very expensive. So it was just a nice evening to be outside. They played football at the park. We went to the playground. And then we got true New York style pizza. We haven't launched into things to eat yet, but you have to get real New York pizza while you're there. And right near Pier 25, there was a great pizza place, Il Mattone Pizza in Lower Manhattan. They have more than one location, but it was delicious. We just went there with this big group of boys and got two large pizzas, and it was fantastic.
That sounds amazing.
It was fresh. We saw them make it, and it was so good.
We are always recording when I'm hungry.
I know.
I'm so hungry. Guys, we worked really hard this morning. We're getting food as soon as this episode is done. I hope you can't hear my stomach rumbling.
And when we get food, we're going to use a gift card, and we're using my Uber Eats for my Amex Gold for the month.
Yes, we are.
My $10 credit.
We are even on a work trip. It's all about the budget.
Yes, it sure is. One thing that I will say, I don't think an activity, before we get into more food stuff, an activity that it's on a lot of the list of like things to do in New York, to go on the High Line. It's this park It's like a walkway and park.
Yeah, I've been up there.
It's elevated and it's really nice in theory, but I just think it's too, I don't know if even popular is the right word because I don't know if locals think it's that popular, but tourist, it just became
touristy.
Yeah, there's too many people.
Yeah.
You can't enjoy it.
I mean, now there's a couple things that, or at least one thing specifically that I'd be willing to do despite the crowds. That is Statue of Liberty. I've done that. I thought that was amazing.
Yes.
So that's a big one for me. I think it's extremely cool. I think it's very, very good to take kids over there and just talk about what the process was like when people were coming over to this country straight, through. They have a really cool museum where you can learn all about the immigration process and what it was like. That's fascinating. I would do all of that with big crowds. Highline Park, take it or leave it.
The Highline. Yeah.
It's not called a park?
Not Highland. Highline.
I said Highline.
The Highline.
I said Highline Park. Is that not a thing?
The video will tell.
I said Highline. Highline. Yes.
Yeah,
but
too many people.
It's not worth it. There's nothing cool enough to override me wanting to be in a crowd.
Yeah.
I don't love crowds.
Speaking of the Statue of Liberty, I also think that's worth doing, even if you can't get up in the crown and up in the top.
We couldn't. It was all closed when we were there.
Yeah, we just went to the island when we went, and it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I actually have a framed picture on the wall in my house of my daughter spinning around in a beautiful little rainbow-colored dress with the New York City, I guess it's Lower Manhattan skyline in the background. Mm-hmm. That's when we went to the island the Statue of Liberty's on.
Yeah, it's perfect. That ferry over there did make me a little nauseous, so take your motion meds.
As always.
We know this about ferries.
We recommend that frequently on this podcast.
We sure do.
Take your motion sickness medicine.
Maybe we should get a sponsor that's a motion sickness.
I've been emailing some people.
Okay. All right.
I'm working on it.
All right.
Another activity that I think is worth doing, even though it's a touristy activity, is the 9/11 Memorial Museum. Yeah. Like, you've got to go down to the memorials. That part is all free. I mean, obviously you can walk around the pools that they have there at no cost, but actually going into the museum, you need to get tickets ahead of time, but it is really powerful. I've taken my kids there. It's kind of a debate. Parents need to think about it, like whether their kids can handle it. I mean, it's very real, and it has real people's stories and pictures, and it wasn't like it was something that was 100 years ago,
For sure.
So you have to think about if your kids can handle it. My kids love that kind of thing. They really love history. My son read a bunch of books about 9/11, so he was very into it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get to go when I went because I had little girls that I was watching. That would not have been the right activity for them for that trip. But if I went back, I would absolutely go.
It was one of the things. So my son had his last birthday he turned 12 a few months ago, and I took all these boys up to New York City for the day. Many of them had never been to New York City at all. And that was one of the things he wanted them to do. We didn't go in the museum with them, but we went to the memorial and the pools. And I was like, it's your birthday. Like,
it's a happy celebration time. Are you sure? I love that.
He wanted to go to places that were important to him. And that was one of the places that he felt like he wanted to take his friend group. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids can appreciate it. And it's really good educational thing for everyone to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, food.
Food. Okay, well, I'm not going to talk about how we went to Nobu because nobody wants to pay that for food, but it was worth it. If you really want to fork over a ridiculous amount of money per plate, you could do that. But everybody's heard of that, so I feel like that's not new news.
Well, I don't know. I go to New York all the time, and I'm not up on every restaurant.
I don't think it's even just in New York. I'm pretty sure it's in other big cities too. It's like sushi, seafood. I think they have steak as well. It's just extremely, extremely fancy. And you'll hear it mentioned a lot. Like, I used to watch Suits. In Suits, they went to Nobu, yeah. So, I mean, 10 out of 10 would recommend if you're not the one paying for it.
Yes. Someone else is paying for it. That's the best reason to go to any restaurant.
Yeah. But one experience that I did have that was a food related experience that was so incredible. I took the girls to this place called Alice's Teacup.
This sounds so cute, guys. So cute.
Yes. It's like the kid-friendly version of the Russian tea room. By the way, I would not recommend if you have kids that aren't used to eating out, I would not do the Russian tea room.
Oh, why? Too fancy? Like the menu's too fancy palate?
I think the vibe in there, if you've got a kid that's like shrieking and running around, would be really uncomfortable for you.
Yeah, my family can't go there.
Okay.
100% cannot go there.
These girls, I mean, eating out was just an expectation for their family. From like day one, they knew how to sit at a restaurant, very calm, very well behaved, no iPads, nothing. That was just what it was. It was already a thing. So it was a place we could go. Alice's Tea Room, on the other hand, is a tea experience that you can have if they give a tiny child a pair of wings when they come in. If that tells you what you need to know about how they feel about children here. It is a very cool place. It's extremely whimsical. When we were there, it was like all the teapots and teacups, everything was mismatched, but beautiful. And it was decorated so whimsically. And they actually have 2 locations now. They have one on the east side of the park and one on the west side of the park. So they're called Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, which is
so cute.
So cute. And
I love that.
The food was very good. You got this tray, multiple tiered tray. You could get scones and little sandwiches. And then they have so many delicious teas to choose from. And they'll brew the tea in the pot for you, just like a traditional tea. But it's just very child-friendly and whimsical. It looks like they do recommend you make reservations.
Okay.
So I would think about that in advance, but especially if you have little girls.
Yes, that sounds perfect.
It was magic and yummy. It was good food.
I have so many friends because I like wearing fancy hats and fascinators. It would be perfect for that. I've also seen so many people telling me I have to do the tea around town.
I've heard of this.
They have it in New York City. They have it in DC. It's a bus that you ride around town, but you're having tea, afternoon tea with the little sandwiches and tiers and all that stuff. And I have yet to do it, but we've got to do it for the podcast at some point because they do have it in New York City. I've seen the bus in New York City after my friends told me that I have to do it. And I'm like, there it is. There's the bus. And it drives around to the famous places in New York City or in DC while you're having afternoon tea. And then you can hop off the bus, see whatever, the destination is. And I think it's lovely.
It's like a sightseeing tour, but they feed you.
Right.
And you get to be fancy.
There we go. Love it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yep.
Okay, what else do you have in the way of food recommendations? Things you've actually done or eaten?
Yes. Ellen's Stardust Diner. We've talked about that on the podcast before, but it should not go unmentioned because it really is fun. It's going to have a line around the building. I mean, it's a commitment to decide to go there. But I think it is worth it because it's so cool. It's it's all these aspiring Broadway actors and actresses, and they sing and they stand up on these platforms and stages and they're delivering food to the table while singing. So that is really charming and fun. And it's truly feels like you're in New York City. It wouldn't make sense to have that in other places except for maybe Nashville if it was aspiring country singers.
Yeah.
They should do that in Nashville.
Oh, who can you pitch that to that will pay you for that idea?
I know. I shouldn't have let it out in the world.
No, it's too late now. I can't put that cat back in the bag.
But most places it wouldn't work. But it really works in New York City and it's great. And it's not far from Times Square. So it's right in the mix of things. So it's easy to do.
Yeah.
We mentioned already you have to get authentic New York pizza. If the place looks nice or fancy, don't go there. It's not the right option.
You want the person serving your pizza to have an accent?
Yes. His name should be Tony. It should be on probably a paper plate.
Yes, paper plate for sure. It might even come out a window into the street. They might just pull a window open in the side of the building and you order straight at the window. You might not even walk inside.
That would be the best pizza.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the place, so I'm not going to be able to share that with you, but I know it was a window.
Yeah. Just put it down. And when you see one of those places, just stop and make sure you get pizza there.
Yeah.
there is so much fine dining in New York City, but again, we are usually on a budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm usually saving my Uber Eats credits and my Grubhub credits and using them when we go to New York City, because there's a lot of chain restaurants there. If you have picky eaters, you're going to have everything. You're going to have Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, McDonald's, like on all the street corners. And I just try to strategically, when I'm budget planning for these trips, use my credits as wisely as I can. And so we don't eat maybe at something that's so authentically New York. We might eat at Chick-fil-A, but we ate there because I had enough credits in my app to do it for free.
I feel like you can just do 1 or 2 authentic meals or unique meals. And then, you gotta be strategic.
I like that. I like pairing 1 or 2. You're going to spill a lot of cash for those meals, still pay for it on either your Chase Sapphire Preferred or your Amex Gold. So you get 3 or 4 times the multiplier. But then after that, be smart with your budget.
For sure.
When I say to splurge, okay, is Christmas. Because there are so many restaurants that do really incredible decorations at Christmas time. So if you're planning to go at Christmas, you're going to go see the Rockettes, you're going to have a whole magical Christmas trip, see the tree at Rockefeller Center. Definitely, we're going to put it in the show notes, a link to an article I found online that has a list. It's just easier to share that link with you of all the different restaurants that decorate really, really well for Christmas.
Yeah, that you don't want to miss that stuff. And it's not like the malls and shops where you can walk in and see them. You can't just go into a restaurant if you're not going to eat there.
A lot of them are like, it's just like immersive. Like there's so many decorations all around you. There's a really famous one, Rolf's, that's German, that people say you go there for the ambiance and the decorations, but the food isn't actually that good.
Interesting.
So there are some other ones on this list that I think have better food options while still having some of the decorations.
That's important.
If you want to do this, though, you have got to get reservations well before your trip, because they will book up. Everyone loves to go to these decorated places.
Okay, and here's a fun thing that you can do with your credit cards, okay? Chase Sapphire Preferred comes with a person who will book your reservations for you.
Yes.
And I have done this. So if you get on the phone well in advance, you tell them places that you want to go, that concierge will literally make your call everywhere, find out what's available. They'll get a list of your preferred and the potential times and dates you want. They will make your reservations. They will even help you build an itinerary of things to do if you don't have ideas. I don't know how you would not have ideas for New York City, but it is a fun perk that is very underused on the card. I think I told the podcast like a long time ago that I used it for Chicago. That was like right when we started the podcast.
Yeah. I think that's great.
And they can often get reservations at places that are hard to snag reservations because Chase has a relationship with these restaurants. So it's a pretty fun way to do it because I don't really like making phone calls. What I did enjoy was chatting with the Chase concierge one time to hammer down all my likes and dislikes and things that I wanted. And then just to have a full typed up, beautifully aesthetic itinerary with all my reservations and times emailed to me. Like it comes with the card. It's a free perk.
That we don't ever use.
Ever. Because we're planners. Yeah. We're planners by nature.
Yeah. We should use it. I like that tip a lot.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about getting around the city.
So getting around, this is sad to me. This is actually breaking my heart a little bit because I've been going to New York City for a long time. The first time I remember going was, oh my gosh, not 30 years ago. That's painful. Almost 30 years ago. Probably not, like 28 years ago or something. I'm so old. But I just remember I was young, I was in middle school, but there were just yellow taxis everywhere, right? You see it on the movies. The yellow taxis is New York.
Yeah.
And ride sharing and Uber and all those things have really taken a toll. Like you don't see as many you still see them, but you don't see as many.
No.
You don't see as many.
I mean, when I went, I want to say this was 9 years ago. Okay. So I still got to hail some taxis. And I remember like being excited to hail my first taxi. because you see it in the movies. It's kind of iconic.
Right.
And you have to be really aggressive when you're hailing a taxi in New York. You can't just be like, excuse me, I need a ride. You got to like fully like step out towards the street and get really aggressive with your arm wave. And you don't have to do that anymore. You just call it on your phone.
I know. So to me, that's a little bit sad, and I hope they don't ever go away. I hope they have some kind of resurgence, but there need to be yellow cars in New York City. But we mainly get around on the subway in New York City. So we love the subway. My son, that's a main attraction for him. He has a subway map on the wall in his room. We love the subway. Fun fact, the Metro cards, they're pretty iconic too. We even have a deck of cards that we got in New York City that is the Metro card on the back of it. Those are going away at the end of this year. December 31st of 2025 is the last time that you can get a little Metro card because it's all contactless payment, tap and go on your phone now.
Yeah. And I know that's like a little sad for the nostalgia.
But so easy.
So much easier. I can't keep track of a card. I know I'm going to lose it. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to stick it in a pocket. It's going to
having to refill the card, go to the little machine, put more money on your card. It's a pain. Yeah. It's, it's one of those things that's kind of sad because it's iconic too, but ultimately way easier to use tap and go on your phone. So if you're planning a trip now, even though those cards aren't going away till the end of this year, the phones already work. So on our latest trip, we tapped and go on our phone. It was super easy. Now we had a whole group of boys that we were trying to tap everyone through. And you're supposed to be able to tap about 4 people in a row, like 4 times, like boom, 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 because you have different members of your family. My husband's phone had a little bit of trouble with it, but I was able to do it on my phone. That was probably user error for us. But if you're just going with your family and you have a phone, your spouse has a phone, tap one, tap the other person through. It really is pretty simple. It's not something that you have to overthink anymore, how you're going to get around the city. If you have a phone that has a wallet with your credit card stored in it, which if you're a points and miles person, you probably do, then it's super simple.
Yeah. And if you prefer Ubering, first of all, I think you can. There's so much you can see with a combination of small Uber rides and walking. You don't have to take the subway. I know some people don't feel super comfortable with the subway. I think there are some safety concerns there, although millions of people ride it every day, I'm sure. I hope I didn't just make up that number, but it seems like a logical number in New York City.
Does.
So with no issues. So, it's fine. But I feel like that is something that you can easily accomplish depending on where you're staying and all of that. But just don't forget to link whatever rideshare you're using. Like I personally link Lyft to Built. And so I'm earning on this Chase Sapphire Preferred as well. So there are so many ways to earn on those rides if you are going to be spending for rideshare, and you can do your research to decide which kind of currency and which kind of linking you want to do.
Yeah, stack the points for sure. And I have done that some too, especially at night. So if you're going to a Broadway show, if you're going to a concert, I went to see Mariah Carey at Christmas with my daughter for a Christmas concert at Madison Square Garden.
So good.
It was so good. It was so much fun, but it was late at night, and the PATH train, we were staying at the Hyde House, Jersey City, that I mentioned loving. The PATH train has a little bit different hours, and late at night with just me and my daughter, I was less interested in riding the subway. So for that, I did use a Lyft, and I just picked me up right outside of Madison Square Garden, zipped me over to the Hyde House, Jersey City, and it was very easy. So we do a mix depending on the time of day and what we feel like is best for our family. But it's so easy to get around in New York City. It really is. That's why it's so incredible. I love going places that we don't need to rent a car. We don't have to fiddle with all that stuff. Don't have to worry about car seats most of the time if you're riding the train, which is lovely.
Yeah, no car seats is dead. If I had a baby, there would be no Ubering for me. Don't want to mess with that at all.
Yeah. Favorite time of year to visit New York City? This is a tough question because I love every season in New York City for different reasons.
Okay. Well, I would pick Christmas at the top of my list, but then after that, I think I like the fall in New York.
Oh, the fall in New York.
It's just very, I want to see all the Gossip Girl filming locations. So I'm walking in my jeans and my sweater and my scarf wrapped around. Oh, you didn't watch Gossip Girl, did you?
I may have seen some of it.
Oh, man.
I know Gossip Girl. I know it. But what I was going to say is You've Got Mail. The movie You've Got Mail.
It's a great movie.
New York in the fall.
You know, sometimes I forget that there was a bit of an age gap here, and it shows in our movie preferences. Although you should have seen Balto.
I'm an old soul.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up on I Love Lucy and Andy Griffith too. Yeah. But once I was able to pick what I watched and no longer was under the control of what was forced in my house, I had to branch out a little bit.
Yeah. For sure. I love springtime in New York City too, like a surprising amount. The problem is just the rain. Because I've gone for spring breaks where it was beautiful. Things were blooming. The trees were blooming. It was magical. I was like, springtime is the best time in New York City. And then I've gone on spring breaks where it poured rain on us, and it's really miserable to walk around the city in the rain. However, I will say, don't worry about so much bringing your own umbrella, because if it starts raining, the people selling things on the street, they pop out with some umbrellas real fast, and they're cute. They're clear, and they have I Love NYC on them. So I packed for the rain because I knew it was going to rain. I brought my own umbrella, but I didn't want mine. I wanted theirs.
Oh my gosh.
They're like $5, so it's cheap, and it's a cute little souvenir.
Okay, that is really cute. I love that. But let me tell you, I will never go back to New York in the summer.
Really? Too
I
hot.
went when
Muggy.
I was, okay, in all fairness,
Stinky.
I was, it is. It smells terrible. I was pregnant with Juliet at the time. This was not the same trip as the nanny trip. And we did so much walking in the hot, stinky New York sun. There's trash, just bacon on the curbs.
A little bit.
It sits out there on trash day, and I did not like it.
I like going in the summer because I like going to Yankees games. But
see that
you can do that in the spring as well, through about October, depending on how good they are.
And that clearly does not call to me in any way, shape, or form.
Sure does not.
So there's no reason for me to go in the summer, and I will not do it.
Hey, hot tip, if you go to a Yankees game, which a lot of people do when they visit New York City, if you go to a Yankees game, there is on one of the levels of the stadium, and it is not accessible by all levels, a little playground area.
What?
So we figured it out. We figured out what section it was near, and we bought our tickets near it because, a baseball game is long, and I went with the toddler. I was like, there's no way the toddler is going to sit here and watch the whole baseball game. So we went. My husband and my son would stay out watching the game, and then I took the toddler back to the little playground area, which is themed. It has all this Yankees themed play equipment. It's very cute, and I was like, this is the perfect way to see a baseball game.
Yes, absolutely. That is a hot tip because I've never heard that before.
You can also go tell them it's your first time in the stadium, go to the little guest services thing, and they'll give you something special for it being your first time visiting. A lot of sports teams do that. So if you're going to go to see the New York Rangers hockey, if you're going to see the Knicks, if you're going to see anywhere in other cities in the country, if it's your first time going to a game, always go to guest services and see if they have something special for first timers for kids. My son got a really cute hockey helmet. He went to a hockey game in Ohio. Columbus? What is the hockey team? I don't even know. He was going to a New York Rangers game. They were playing at Columbus. Oh. And he got a free little hockey helmet, and it was cute.
That is cute. You can make a little collection of all your first time souvenirs. I like that. That's a great tip.
And we have ridden the subway to the Yankees games very easily. I definitely recommend taking the subway there. Not a problem.
Okay. Amazing. Anything else we need to hit about New York? I mean, we could go on
so much.
How about we ask you guys, jump in our Facebook group, because I bet so many of you have been to New York. I bet you have so many good tips. I think we would like to hear them.
Yeah. I would love to hear them because I go to New York a lot and I always want a new hot tip and a new place to visit. So maybe we can make a master post in our Facebook group for things that you've done in New York, places you've eaten, all of that good stuff. People can write their own tips there. Yeah. And then if you're planning a trip, come search up the Facebook group and find it.
Amazing. Yeah. And we can post the link to this podcast episode there as well. So they can click on the link, listen to the episode, read all the comments. It'll all be in one place.
Yeah. And if you are going to New York City, or no matter where you're going this summer, what kind of adventure you're going on, make sure, check out Firefly Recovery. Remember, you can use the code Wonderland, get 15% off.
Yeah.
Especially if you're somebody who has circulation issues, whose feet swell. And, it just really may make you less achy on your travels. So I think you should try it out. And we're going to keep trying it all summer in all the different ways that we travel to see how it helps us.
Yeah, we really are. The company's super impressive. They work with a lot of big time athletes. You guys, if Olympic athletes are using something, it's amazing.
Olympians, all the Olympians, go on their website. When they went to Paris for the Olympic Games, they were using this stuff to help keep them fresh, help travel, not to, break them down. All that time you're spent on an airplane, that's not good for athletes. They got to stay up. They can't be sore and all that. So
it's amazing. I literally cannot wait to try it. So head to the website, code Wonderland, 15% off. It's a super good deal. Definitely worth the money if it works on the back end of a long trip, keeping you fresh.
Yes, because you want to enjoy your time. You spend all this time planning, earning points, learning how to use the points. You want to enjoy your trip and not. I have been on trips where I'm just so sore the whole time.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to be getting off of our flight at 6 a.m. in London and going. It's time to walk the city at that point. These things are going to be such a life changer.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here with us today for our very first live in-person episode. This was really exciting.
It was so fun.
We should do it again sometime.
Why can't you live here?
Maybe you need to
We could do this all the time.
I don't want to move. You move.
No, you move.
Okay.
We both live in wonderful places.
You hang up. No, you hang up.
All right, guys. We will see you next time.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this show today, please consider writing us a review or clicking 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcasts. And please subscribe and follow along so that you never miss an episode. You can follow the podcast on Instagram or YouTube at Wonderland on Points Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Family Travel for the Win with the number 4. And you can find me on Instagram at Points to Wonderland. If you're thinking about getting a new Travel Rewards credit card, consider using the links in our show notes. Using our links helps to support us and keep our podcast going so we can provide you with all the latest tips and tricks when it comes to traveling on points. And if you aren't sure which card is right for you, shoot us an email at wonderlandonpoints@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you here next time.